Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Time Traveler's Handbook. We're continuing our discussion on Palm Springs. If you haven't watched the previous episodes or Palm Springs, go and watch them now. And spoilers ahead for Palm Springs. Additionally, with this episode, there are minor spoilers for Russian Doll and All You Need Is Kill. Palm Springs has the unique aspect that there is more than one person that is stuck in a time loop together. It's even more unique in the fact that there is a reasonable explanation for why this is. I want to talk a little bit more about loops that have multiple loopers and what that means for structuring a time loop. I've really only seen a couple of other cases where multiple loopers were used. I can count them on one hand, and very rarely do they treat them the same as this. But in both of the cases where I've seen the same kind of thing happen, where multiple loopers loop at the same time, they did it because they were forced back to their original bodies through a form of mental time travel. In other words, their bodies didn't go back, but their minds did. For the other cases of multiple loopers, there's a case of loopers not always looping at the same time and just having kind of intersecting loops together, and a case where an area is being sent back in time with the people in it, regressing with the area. Neither of those cases really apply here, but we can look at the first two I mentioned as an example. Those first two examples come from Russian Doll and All You Need Is Kill. So minor spoilers for those here. Russian Doll is an interesting example because the structure of the loop almost seems more like a metaphor than a real time loop. But in essence, the two main characters are totally unrelated and end up looping together and have to come together to work out their problems to escape. All You Need Is Kill is the book version of Edge of Tomorrow, and unlike the movie where Cage is the only one that loops, he and Rita end up looping together. In that case, however, only one person could escape the loops, for if one survived when they defeated the thing that was setting them back in time, it would reset the day anyways. So now that we've seen other examples, let's talk a little bit more about Palm Springs. The fascinatingly unique thing to me is that any number of people can be a part of the loop, and they don't have to be a part of it from the beginning, and they can come in at any time. The character Niles spends nearly 40 years in the loop before Sarah comes in. In theory, any number of people could be a part of the loop and would have to find a way to escape it as Sarah did. As people can enter any time, they can also leave any time, which begs the question of what happens to the loopers that don't leave when others do. Fortunately, the film does give us that answer when Roy is left behind and goes searching out Niles to see if the loop could be broken. Niles reverted to what he was before the loop started, an indication that his mind had not been altered to be the Niles that was looping all along. And this is what signaled to Roy that their method worked for escaping the loops. So the answer is simple. If your mind isn't replaced by a looping version of yourself, then you simply start the day over again like everybody else. Additionally, the loop may not be over at the time that all of the loopers escape. Since the loop itself is not destroyed by Sarah and Niles leaving, that loop continues to happen even though all of the participants fail to end up in the loop. However, if Roy leaves the loop, then everything that happened at the start of the loop can happen again, meaning that most likely Niles is going to end up stuck in a loop once again, and the same exact scenario will play out forever and ever. We're going to talk more about the hypothetical endpoints of this kind of a system. What can happen if this kind of a system continues to exist in this kind of a deterministic universe where everything's going to start over anyways, and it's very, very likely that this could continue to happen. There are lots of other edge cases that we can talk about, and we're going to explore them more in the next episode. So, as always, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next episode.